This might be horror film of the year. This is coming hot off Sinners' success, and WB have been cooking, so massive shout out to them. From start to finish, Weapons movie is such an enjoyable film. Spoiler alert, because I will be talking about specific plot points, and just the way the film carried the cast and took us on this mystery on understanding what happened to these kids doing this at 2:17 a.m. and all went missing. It's such an interesting plot. I felt so unsettled throughout the whole film. In a very satirical way, there was some comedy moments that I was not expecting, but it came at the intention of trying to creep you out more, but it also came across funny in the perspective of the characters. And you'll understand that when you see the film. Just to name, there's quite a lot of Marvel cast members in this. Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, who's having a really good summer, coming off Fantastic Four. Alden, who was recently in Ironheart and debuted in the MCU. And we know the GOAT, Wong himself, Benedict Wong, who's played the character Wong in the MCU for many years. They all have great, amazing acting chops, and they really sold you on this journey. The film's director, Zach Cregger, who directed the 2022 Barbarian movie, did an absolute amazing job telling you perspectives of characters and giving you a very stylistic approach to that, almost as if it was a horror anthology. But you get to these characters' stories, get to the moment of a cliffhanger, and then it goes to the next part of the story, which is from another character perspective. I love that style of storytelling. It's not something I've seen before in a film, and just the way you felt unsettled getting to the conclusion of the movie. Amazing director. Made you feel that unsettling motion throughout the entire film. It's a slow burn, but you really are invested throughout the whole film. I enjoyed it so much. The kid who played Alex did an amazing job. I loved his role, and just to see what this kid had to deal with in this movie is honestly so insane. And turns throughout all the story where you as the viewer are piecing it whilst you see the perspectives of all these characters and them trying to understand what's going on with this kid and what's happening at home is generally one of the most interesting things. Weapons is a horror that I've never seen before, and I think all the acting in it was brilliant. Stylistic approach from Zach Cregger telling this story, amazing camera work and how he utilized that to make you feel unsettled. One of the best screenplays I've seen in a horror film. May even be better than Sinners. Based on the way that audiences at the moment have perceived the film, even the critics, the same level with that means this film is probably going to do well in the box office. I don't know if it will beat cinema. I can imagine it does the same, but that's just great overall for cinema, especially WB, because they've had a great year, as I mentioned earlier on. One of the biggest surprises of the film is that it had this satirical nature that made viewers laugh, like myself. So self-aware, it's a horror film. It generally took you out in these moments where you just had to laugh. One moment where Julia Garner's character is literally sleeping in a car. All I'm gonna say is scissors. One of the funniest scenes in the film. This scene in the film where Benedict Wong's character does one of the most insane things. I can't even forget a moment in my mind. Like, you have to see it. And it's actually one of the biggest reveals on who the true villain is, because we're all wondering this mystery on who's the one creating all these issues, who's kidnapped these kids, what is going on with some of these people. With this moment in the trailer, generally couldn't believe this moment, especially the ending of the film when they get the main villain. Genuinely one of the craziest parts of a horror film I've seen in a while. Generally thought this is one of the best horrors I've seen. It does have thriller, there is a mystery to it, but the way they conclude the story and just everything about it was so good. I don't have any negatives for the movie. I just kind of wish it was longer.